Vermont arrives at 12-6. Won the America East automatic qualifying bid. They have won 10 games in a row. They go up against Maryland. First face-off. Off a scramble, Wierman collects. In the meeting last year, in the first round of the NCAA tournament, that Maryland won on their trip to championship halved earlier this week.
Some people were shocked about that.
And he starts the scoring 45 seconds in here at Maryland Stadium. When we talked with Chris Fikes, he said the big keys on our side of things, it starts with possession. We just got to have it more. And then when they get it offensively, they want to slow things down. They have played at a slow tempo offensively all season, and even more important, against Maryland and its explosive group. They strip Wierman off the faceoff and then thrown away by Nick Alvini. Great stick there by the Maryland pole, John Gepper. Get a look across. And you know what that looks like to know who's coming next for Maryland. When you were a senior, you played a freshman in Jared Bernhardt.
And I watched Jared Bernhardt running around the field. I said, who is that kid? He's a freshman. Fast forward 4 or 5 years, and he's Maryland's one of, if not the best all time.
Well, one way or another, Maryland has come up with all 3 possession attackmen from Toronto, a 5th-year starter, and one of the captains on this team with a career high now 32 goals this season. First violation on either side with grabbing the crustacean after that went over Hopkins in the regular season. He got to go pick it up against his old program. The middle of March at 2-6 heading into conference play, and they're practicing indoors quite a bit because of the cold conditions all the way up in Vermont. And yet in the NLL draft back in August, he went first overall. It's a face-off win for Wierman and a stop by Cornell.
Maryland scores
staring down Owen Murphy, who he goes. So it's 5-1 Maryland, and you see the Terps' edge in face-offs. Tommy Burke trying to win one against Wierman. Wierman second best in the country. Burke 4th best in the country, but it's Wierman again. And it's Wierman feeding Kahn, tough to handle.
Maryland's goal.
Flag goes down right in front of the creek. Last couple of weeks has been the best lacrosse that he's played because he's changing his release point. So
sometimes you just got to go to the bread and butter, though.
All reliable gets the job done.
This first half.
Cornell, Delaware, and Georgetown as well on that part of the bracket. Wierman flings it high. What do you think about that side of the bracket?
They didn't recruit me, but Keegan Kahn, 140 pounds when he was recruiting him back in the day, and then now he's really blossomed since he's been at Villanova. And wow,
Wisnowskis off another Wierman win. Quick strike ability from the Terps, and Vermont needs a timeout.
Wierman just doing what he does well, getting that early offense going, and Wisnowskis again showcasing his quick release, lefty tendencies, and his range here. Just sticks one to that top left corner. And things, the buses, wheels are starting to roll off the bus here if you're Vermont.
The loss in the national championship game last season, that's one of those things that sticks with you like a tattoo on your brain.
Yeah, and Coach Tillman told us earlier this week that Coach Bernhardt sticks stuff in the locker to remind the guys every single day, keep them humble.
Finished 5th all-time in that regard. Honorable mention All-American last year, and then just this week got drafted 20th overall to the PLL.
6 mark of the second quarter. That goal was
12-1 face-off edge. Where this program has come.
Bears in the bottom corner.
I mean, this is a Vermont team that there was some thought too that, hey, depending on how the bracket breaks, maybe they have upset potential because of where this program has come over the 6 years that Chris Fikes has been there. But they ran into the absolute juggernaut who, I mean, we're going to be talking about them regardless of what happens with his 5th of the season. Wierman and Maryland trying to win this one against Tim Norton with a yard sale in progress. 11. goals in the Big Ten title game against Rutgers. Wierman a win against Norton. And swept it along to safety. Who is out there against Wierman to start the third quarter. Brett Makar picks it up off the carpet for the Terps. And they go right back to work, controlling possession as they did throughout the first couple of quarters. And that's the 38th hat trick of his career. And with that, he ties Jared Bernhardt for the Maryland record for hat tricks. After earlier this season, he broke Bernhardt's points record, who broke Matt Rambo's points record. The first in assists, first team all-conference, one of the leaders on this team, and a guy whose motor is just incredible to watch, in particular in the rock.
Yeah, Coach told us earlier this week, Spice, that every practice he shows up and competes at a very, very high level. He's a man amongst boys. Very quickly, things changed, and she got really worried. I think for me, looking at this situation, and I spoke to defender Sydney Anderson, who wrote the viral article that
15-3, the Maryland margin. And Wierman's been getting some breathers here. It's Gavin Ty again against Tommy Burke, who again has just not had his type of day against Luke Wierman in the wing play as well for the Terps. 2 in the championship game of the Big Ten tournament right here against Rutgers. Ty, the Virginia transfer, with a win.
Groot, as they call him.
Guardians of the Galaxy. John Tillman has nothing but good things to say. And because of that uncertainty, like any program might do, they went out and looked in the portal. And you find guys like Donville to come in and other pieces at the offensive end. You've got some freshmen midfielders who become sophomores as well. And John Tillman him this week about the Canadian influence on their roster. And he said that they have modeled themselves the last few years like Denver, and he thinks, why can't we be what Denver is? Coordinator Jake Bernhardt, defensive coordinator Ryan Kavanaugh. They actually flew out to Denver after the 2018 season, and they learned a lot about what the Pioneers have done out west with their program, Vermont's campus. And a guy who is very impressive in what he has done, second team all-conference. Now at 40 goals. And Vermont's got back-to-back goals consecutively for the first time in this game.
You got to feel for some of these guys going against Norton.
And the way he is received on the sidelines tells you everything you need to know about Ryan Syracuse.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Those guys that come into the locker room and to practice day in, day out.
So close through the years between those two great programs. I mean, the game.
The older guys do. Shocker.
Business as usual. Tommy Burke wins it, and Vermont possesses. If you're wondering the most goals that Maryland has scored in school history,